Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? I actually need to hear somebody say yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Awesome, great. So my name is Dr. Tiffany Monique Quash. I am the Qualitative Survey Research Methodologist here at CTRL, and welcome to Taguette. And I really enjoy using this particular platform. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about it, and then we're going to practice. So without further ado, I first want to tell you who really is in charge of creating Taguette, which was Vicki Rampin and her partner. So Vicki works at NYU doing data services, and she is a specialist for computer science and data science. Again, Taguette, I was about to say Baguette, but Taguette is a personal project of theirs, and I'm just really excited that I can share it with y'all. So the agenda for today is, again, our welcome, our session goals, what is Taguette, getting access to Taguette, and we're going to practice using an interview and then using a code book in Taguette. So before we get started, did everybody get a chance to log into Taguette? And I can't see hands or anything, so just, I guess, shout it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in the chat, I'm going to send you the link. Oh, there it is, Nabila. Thank you so much, my friend. And then Nabila will also send you the link, or excuse me, not the link, but the information for the interview. So if you can also put that in the chat, Nabila, I would really appreciate it. Fantastic. So we're going to start off with the basics, meaning this is a computer-assisted qualitative data analysis program. CAQDAS really includes features to help highlight, code, annotate, and link source materials. So it's kind of like NVivo, MaxQDA, Taguette. They're all data management systems. And there are mixed feelings about CAQDAS programs because there's this fetishization of codes over deep engagement with source materials. So I know, like, even in my case, when I was writing my dissertation, I felt very disconnected from my research because I wasn't accustomed to using NVivo or MaxQDA or Atlas TI or even Taguette. So it's just really important now that there's all this information out there to actually simplify your research, that there's just to acknowledge that there's been a lot of controversy of using such programs and various concerns about privacy. So our session goals for today, as I said before, we're going to describe how to upload the transcription or other documents into Taguette, implement the correct processes to code transcripts appropriately. We're going to describe the steps of how to work collaboratively with others on the platform, and then use these skills to tag and annotate on the document. So before I get started again, if there are any questions, just unmute yourself because unfortunately I've got too many screens going on. But just go ahead and unmute yourself. And most importantly, just unmute so we can work on this together. So just some housekeeping. So it's all set, the default is set to mute. You don't have to raise your hand in this particular workshop. You can just unmute yourself and go ahead and talk. And just to let you know, the session is being recorded and it will be available on the CTRL website or on YouTube channel. Okay. So again, what is Taguette? Is a text tagging available desktop. A tagging system that is available on desktop or the server. And again, why would you want to use Taguette? Because it's all available on all operating systems. It provides real-time collaboration, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then also, it's easy to learn and use, and it's self-hostable. Data remains local, and then there is a multilingual option, but unfortunately, if you're using Taguette the way we're going to be using it today, which is through the app, you're not going to be able to get that multilingual access. So there's two ways you can get to that to get. You can use the GitLab version, which I personally have difficulty using. And then also you can just use the app that's in or the URL that was sent in the chat. Now just again, before we get started again, did everybody get logged in? Just put in the chat, yes or no. Fantastic. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Tabitha. Yay! Awesome. Thank you, Kim and Gabrielle, sorry about that, and John. Fantastic. So logging into Taguette, this is where I'm going to kind of do a split screen. So you would just put in your login, your password, confirm your password, and then your email. And definitely do the terms of service. And you'll just click register. And your screen will look a little something like this. And then you would just click login. Okay, so again, the motivation and goals, and the reason I'm doing this, having this workshop kind of explain to you like the reasons and who developed the programs is because I think you have to understand like what the call to action has been, particularly in qualitative research. So again, qualitative methods generate rich, detailed research materials that leave individuals with perspective to intact, as well as provide multiple contexts for understanding the phenomenon under study. Qualitative methods have been used in various programs and in a range of fields. And that data ranges from observations, interviews, documents, audio-visual materials, and so much more. So these are the things that we love about qualitative research, right? And it's, again, like I was saying before, it was just really important for me to tell you the inventors of Taguette. This is Vicky and their partner, Remy, and then the trainer and user liaison, which is Sarah. You can get in touch with those people by just emailing hi@taguette.com, and then you can just have a conversation with them. But to pronounce it, Taguette is like baguette, but with a T. This is purely a text tagging system that's either on your desktop or on the server. Again, for our purposes for today, we're going to be putting it on the desktop, or excuse me, on using the app from the server from in the cloud. And if you're really familiar with using Python or Calibre, you can definitely set it up going through the GitLab, and I'll send out these these slides for you so you can figure out how to download it onto your computer. But again, we're going to be working from the cloud. And again, Taguette features in all is available on all operating systems, real-time collaboration, it's easy to use, self-hostable, which we really won't get into. Data remains local, and then it's also multilingual. But again, if you're using multilingual, you have to be attached with a server. So we're going to starting up with Taguette. What you're going to want to do is you're going to log in, which everybody has done, correct? I would say thumbs up, but just type yes in the chat or pipe up. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody. Awesome. So what you're going to do is now that you're here, and I'm just going to make my screen a little bit wider, you're going to create a new project. And then you're going to name it. Actually, let me back up a little bit. We're going to go to import a project file. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And then everybody did receive the interview, correct? That Nabila put in the chat. And again, I just need a yes. Fantastic. Thank you. So I'm going to go into my files. And I'm going to go to this particular document, which is the original William interview, or for you, it may have just been William. And I'm just going to say open and then import project. And then this should pop up. So did everybody was able to get to the, excuse me, the transcript? I'm going to hope so. So again, this is creating a new project. We went ahead and created a new project, name, description. If you're not able to put the name in, what you are able to do is go to project information, and then right here you can name it. So I've named it, I'm going to rename it William interview, and description down east interview. And if you're familiar with this particular interview, it is from in vivo, so I just used the in vivo interview. I didn't want to use any of my personal research. Okay, what file types are we able to upload? My file chooser doesn't seem to want to upload a doc or a PDF. Let's try that again. Got this screen, sorry. Okay. That's really odd. Let me see. Did everybody get the same message on their ticket? Okay, so let me see if I can actually think it's the issue with the project versus the import. Okay. Yep. Did anybody create a new project first? Okay, so Irene, you did that. Did that work? Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for no, it's okay. We're all working together. That's what the beauty of this. Okay. So when you, and I'm just going to pull up my login. There it goes. So so after clicking to create, you'll be taken to the project view, which has a left and a right side. So the left side panel contains the information for your project. So the project info, uploaded materials, which is the document. There's going to be one tag that's in there, and it just, just ignore it. You can delete it. And then there's, again, like there's the area in which you're going to be able to highlight. So I'm going to just pop open mine again. William interview. So when I click on it, yours is not going to have all of this. I'm going to actually delete all these. But you should be able to see your interview right here. Does everybody see that? Awesome. Thank you. So we've already talked about adding a document, which is great. So I'm going to move past this slide. But as I said before, you definitely want to have a description. Even though it's optional, I would definitely put in a description of the particular document that I have, because that information is also going to be important when you export your data. And we'll talk about that later. We already talked about adding a document. The different types of documents that can be uploaded are PDFs, docx's, TXTs, HTML, MDs, ODTs. So these can all be uploaded. You will be prompted to give the new document a name, which we've gone through, a name and the description. As I said before, it's just really important to at least name it so that you know what you're doing. And then, if you decide to follow the GitLab directions, you'll be able to use the multilingual support or the multilingual part of the application. The interesting thing is that if you want to go from instead of left to right and right to left, that's something that you can do. And this is just an example of Arabic. Unfortunately, with what I've given you today, we're not going to be able to do that. But if you do decide to download the app onto your computer and self-host, you'll be able to do that. So I'm gonna switch screens real quick because we are gonna talk about how you can code in Taguette. Okay, so give me 1 second. And I'm gonna just stop sharing my screen, and then I'm gonna just show you from here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is put in a tag. So the way that we're going to add a tag, excuse me, is we're going to go ahead and go to the document, and then where it says highlights, we're going to go to highlights, and then we're going to go to create a tag. These are not going to be available for you because I had already started putting in tags, but the way to do it is here, you click create a tag, and then let's just say years in down east, or even, yeah, years in down east. And we can say for this particular description, the number of years a participant spent in the down east. And then we're going to click save and close. So the interesting thing of what I just did, you see here it says years in down east and then years in township. The really cool thing I can do is from here I can also merge my tag. So what I'm going to do is click edit.
Sorry, we can't see your screen.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're just hearing me talk. Thank you. I'm so sorry, everybody. Here you go. Does everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that, everyone. So what I'm going to back up a little bit. So we see all my tags that are here. And then this is the tag that I just put in, years in down east and years in township. The interesting thing about that particular tag is that I can merge these tags because they practically mean the same thing. So I'm going to click edit. And then what I can do is I can say years in township, and I'll just put in number of years in community. And then I'm going to click merge. And then I'm going to says here are years in township and into, let's say I want to put that into years in down east, and I'm going to merge the tags. So now the tag should appear in years in down east, which it does. Did everybody see how I did that? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let's go back to the actual document. And I clicked on highlight. So always go back to document and then click on highlight. What I'm going to do now is say where it says first, one of the first sentences William says is, I've owned my house in Straits Township in Ottawa for 3 years. So I'm going to highlight that and then click new highlight. And then I'm going to click years in down east. And then I'm going to hit save and close. So now I have another tag that goes into years in down east. So remember, I have my first tag, which was here, and then my second tag, which is here. if I wanted to erase the tag, and let's say it just didn't resonate with me or what William was saying in the interview, I can easily delete the highlight. So I just clicked on it, left click, and click delete highlight, and it goes away. Did anybody have any questions about what I just did? So what I want to do is spend a little time with each of you, just kind of going through the first, let me delete this highlight, the first couple of sentences or what William is saying. Again, here's attraction to, I can never say this, CARETAC, county, environment dot place, and I'll explain this in a minute, environment dot protection, family, years, and down east. So the reason that this has environment dot place and this says environment dot protection is that that's a hierarchy. So it's, if you're familiar with in vivo or deduce, there is like a child code or a parent code, excuse me, and then there's the child code. So this right here is the parent code, and then this right here is the child code, and this is a child code. So you'll need to put in a punctuation to differentiate between having a parent code or a child code. Did anybody have any questions about that? So we're going to just go through and highlight. I'm going to take like 2 or 3 minutes for you to work on your own and go ahead and highlight all of the information that you see in this particular transcript. Okay, so I'm going to put myself on mute, and if you have any questions, pipe up. We're just going to do this for like 2 minutes, okay? Forgot I took myself off mute. Didn't take myself off mute. So how did everybody do with tagging their first couple of sentences? Okay, thank you. Is it Cherise? Thank you. Tabitha, awesome. Thank you so much for telling me. So the really cool thing is that you're seeing your work in real time. So there is a way that you can just see the tags or the sentences without seeing the rest of the document or the interview. So what I went to is document and then backlight. And then with backlight, all you can see is everything that you highlighted. And again, the really cool thing about Taguette is that it's kind of reminding me, and this is what Vicki and I had talked about, it reminds me of me like going through my transcripts and using a yellow highlighter, which is readily accessible for me for right now, apparently. But it's supposed to stimulate that kind of feeling when you're working within a document. So from here, so we've already talked about seeing your tag quotes in Taguette. I'm going to go back to my highlights. I am going to, let's see here. I want to make sure that each of these tags have a definition. So let's go to first attraction to CARETAC County, or I'm going to call it CC. Reasons to live in the county. I'm going to click save and close. Environment. how William uses the environment of the town, save and close, environment in place. Let's say the location of the environment being discussed. Hit save and close. Family living in the area, save and close. And we already have down east, save and close. So it's really important, and I'm going to show you why, to have all that information with you, okay? So from here, I've already shown you how you can see all your highlights. We're going to export our code book. And the way we're going to do that is to go first to the project info tab. And then we're going to go to export codebook. And then the really cool thing about exporting your codebook is that you have these different versions. You can put it in a doc, you can put it in a PDF, HTML. I personally, like if I'm doing something like this, I like to see it in Excel. So I'm going to just click on Excel. I'm going to call it codebook. I'm going to click on my codebook. It's taking its sweet time. Here it goes. So now, can everybody see my codebook that I've created? Awesome, thank you. So on the left side were all of my tags, and then the right side, my left, my right has the descriptions and the number of tags. So it just tells you how many tags you have. You will be in the next column. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you like what was said, but you can easily go back to the actual document, or in the document in Taguette to actually get more information on what were the two highlights that you did for years in Down East. Okay. So we've already exported all of the tags associated with the first how to navigate through highlights, which was really important. So we've already done that. We've already exported the docs out of Taguette. So to export the document that you've highlighted, first navigate to the Documents tab in the left pane and click on the document that you want to export. So let's say I want to click on this right here, which is the document that I want to export. Then you can use the Excel export, and this view drop down menu of the top right in the right pane. You can have your choice of different right here. I went here to Documents, William Doc, and then export this view. And I can see everything that I've highlighted. So I'm going to click on, let's say I click on Doc, okay, X. I'll hit save. And you'll see the entire interview here, but it will also tell you what you highlighted and then the year, like your tag. So here I highlighted, I've owned my house in the Streets Township in Ottawa for 3 years. That tag that's associated with this particular quote is years in Down East. Same thing with this, this entire paragraph, or excuse me, sentence, 2 sentences, the tag that was associated to it was family. And that's how I would look for the rest of the interview. Any questions? Okay, fantastic. So, so we've talked a little bit about how to export this particular view, how to export your tags. You can import your tags, or excuse me, import your interview, which is what we went over a minute ago. But you want to make sure that you have your file name. Okay. So what we're going to do is go over to project info. And let's say we go to export project. And this is the name of it. I'm going to click on it. Oh, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Sorry. Let's see if it does it now. Oops. I don't think it wants to. Sorry, everybody. Let me close this real quick. I'm going to stop sharing. And then. So on my side of the computer, it's not coming out the correct way that it should. But don't really worry about being able to export the project because you already have export this view. All right. So the way you can try out, again, you can just play around with Taguette, which is really fun to do. To me, it's not as confusing, I think, as in vivo. I'm not trying to, lay smack down on in vivo, but I think especially if you're just getting more familiar with using qualitative research, Taguette is the way to go. If you have students who are taking a research methods class or a qualitative class, I personally would probably start off with using Taguette because it's so easy to understand. So there's that. Are there any questions about using Taguette? And you can just unmute yourself at this point.
I'm wondering if it's, have we kind of seen all the features now, or are there colors? Is there parent-child codes? It's just simple.
It's really that simple, yeah.
Okay.
The only, excuse me, the only color that you have in this is the yellow color. And again, they were trying to show it like if you were highlighting. Let me share my screen again. Go. So you have all your codes here, and then it's the yellow. The yellow is what is being used right now, and they get feedback from people who are like, hey, do you have any other colors that we can use? And they're like, no. But this is, like I was saying before, environment would be the parent code, and environment.place would be the child code, and then environment.protection would be another child code, and those would go under environment. Are there any other questions? No? It's really that easy and fun to use. So yeah, there's Irene, there's no other functions or features. It's really, and again, it's open source. So I hate to say what you see is what you get, which is really, again, really useful. I think in comparison to other programs, which can be a little confusing. Anybody else? Well, before you go, there's a couple of things that I would like to remind you of. Number one, there is a qualitative research podcast called Coloring Outside the Memos, and you can find it on Spotify, and as well as the CTRL website to send you over there. So it's CTOM. .com, I believe. And Nabila, can you put the podcast in the chat? So you can definitely listen to the podcast. It's with myself and my dear friend, Dr. Lizzie, who's at the University of Buffalo. Wait, are there other open source programs out there for research, for qualitative research? Open source, yeah, open source is really important. So my suggestion when you're looking for a qualitative program, thank you, Nabila. When you're looking for a qualitative program, there are a couple of programs that you can, I'm going to say, try out. Like Deduce has like 10 days or a month or something like that, where you can try it out. I do believe that In Vivo does the same thing. I know that Max QDA does the same thing. So those are not open source. There is another open source qualitative program, which it's escaping me right this minute. But it is open source. The difference between that particular program and this program is that it really relies on you knowing Python to download it. So that's like the big, if you're not familiar with Python, like I am not familiar with Python other than a snake, I just wouldn't, use it. It's not something that is my repertoire personally. But yeah. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you, Nabila. So Nabila put a Qualtrics form in the chat for folks to please fill out. Thank you, Kurt. So please fill out the form, because I want to make sure that I can bring additional programs to you. So that's number one. Or number one was the podcast. That's number two is to fill out the survey form, the feedback form. If you are teaching a research methods class, please let me know. We are doing something called Faculty Spotlight, which can definitely be found on our CTRL website. We've had about 4 or 5 faculty members who have been featured on the Faculty Spotlight. So again, if you're teaching qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, please reach out to me so we can get you some space and say, hey, thank you so much for teaching research methods and some of your tricks to the trade. So yes, I believe that is it. I know this was a quick workshop, and I tend to talk really fast, but is there any other questions out there? Okay. Well, thank you, Gabrielle. I'm sorry about that. Anybody else? Thank you, Emma. All right, so I'm going to stop recording.